the Budhole Podcast.
Welcome to the Budhole. It's your chance. Do your dance at the Budhole.
Here's a hot take.
Guess who's back? Back again. Budhole's back. Tell your friends.
Budhole coming at you.
We just want to say before this thing starts, thank you so much to our loyal listeners. And here you go with another great Budhole podcast. Brought to you by Star Lamar, Brandon, Gage's Rage, and Scott on the Budhole Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Budhole Podcast, episode number 139. This is the Week 3 Fantasy Fallout, as well as Week 4 Lookahead. This episode is brought to you by none other than Shock Fantasy and Matt Harrison over at shockfantasy.com, where if you sign up today with promo code BUDHOLE, you get awesome insider knowledge to a newly updated today, September, what's the date today? 28th of 2020. Dynasty player value chart, as well as you get all the DFS information you could ever want for $25 for the year. That's 6.9 cents per day. Remember to use promo code BUDHOLE when you sign up. We are also brought to you by Thrive Fantasy, where if you deposit $20 or more, they'll give you a $20 match of your first deposit over at thrivefantasy.com with promo code BUD. With that being said, what's going on, guys?
What is up, Scott?
Not too much. Gage? What's new in your world?
Recovering from a long weekend. Celebrated Tommy. Shout out Tommy for being one of the best bachelors out there.
Hey, yo, shout out Tommy.
Woo!
Yeah.
Tommy, you dog, looking like Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic looking like minus probably about 2 feet, and definitely did not graduate from Harvard, so he's still a Harvard grad in my heart.
I think there was a lot of Fitzmagic lookalikes after that Thursday night outing, though, that were all about looking like Fitzmagic.
Walking down the streets.
Yep. People coming up to him.
Downtown
like,
Miami.
Yeah. You Ryan Fitzpatrick? Well, I can be. Surely can be.
I got the magic in my pants.
Yep, so still recovering. The hangovers definitely take a little bit longer at 26 than they did at 21 to fully get over it.
I remember my first beer.
Start. But I'm here. I'm alive.
Are you at the point in life yet where they're a 2-day recovery type thing? Or
this is I'd say this is the entrance of that. It's kind of tough when you stay up drinking until 6, 7 in the morning. Is it really technically 2 days? Not yet, but
that's true.
Do you think
we're getting there.
It's actually a hangover, or is it just your glucose levels from all the Angry Orchard you drank trying to
counteract itself?
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, Angry Orchards were not the only thing to drink. Big whiskey guy. We were. There were shots. There was some Doctor. There was some Fireball.
The sigh as you say it. I love it.
Once we get to the bar, have some Captain Cokes. Can't just go straight.
So you had a lot of
Angry Orchards.
A lot of soda with your stuff then, right? Because I mean, if you had whiskey, would you mix it with Sprite, Coke?
No.
Just whiskey.
Just some whiskey.
Whiskey.
I had one
Okay.
whiskey shot. Fireball straight.
All right, I'll put some hair on your nuts.
Fireball's got a lot of sugar in it too, though.
Does it?
Yeah, it's syrupy.
Morgan Coke. Those
Yep.
have a lot of sugar. I noticed when I was hard on the Morgan Coke days or Morgan Dews, I had really bad hangovers the next day. And I think it's because I would drink like 8, 9, 10 pops a night when I'm mixing them with my drinks.
Yeah.
And then I'd really fucking feel it. Now that I'm on Claw Nation, I'm all right.
Oh, we did have Bud Light Platinum Seltzers.
8%.
8%.
I seen the commercial for those.
yeah, I saw those on Saturday. I almost picked some up, actually.
Could you
Those
taste the
fuckers
alcohol
rip.
in them?
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
were they strong?
They
you
were
were
strong
drinking it?
seltzers. Definitely for the seltzer gangs, invest in the Bud Light Platinum.
That's one to try?
Yes.
All right, I'm all in.
Good flavor, too. Really good, tasty.
Well, from a fantasy perspective, which is a hell of a good segue, I know. Going from seltzers to fantasy football. But that's what we're here for, is fantasy football today. First off, we're going to get into some top injuries of the week to get you guys up to speed on who's injured and who are good replacements for those injured players. The top one to talk about, which everybody saw Sunday night, Chris Carson goes down with what is now known as a sprained knee, so he got very lucky on it. Could have been a lot worse. But obviously, the tackle, the play, the whole thing was pretty controversial. Did any of you guys see the play itself?
Yeah, and Star and I just watched it a little bit ago before. I think live speed, it doesn't look as bad, but when you put it in slow motion, looks like a dirty play.
There's a whole extra roll that's very unnecessary.
Malicious intent.
I think there's people like tweeting at him and stuff. The guy that did it, I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
Austin Hill?
So I think that sounds right.
I know he's
All
a
right.
second-year player for the Cowboys. Or for...
That may be wrong. Hill is his last name.
Defensive lineman number 72.
Defensive lineman, Hill, accurate.
Nonetheless, you could definitely see in the slow motion, the turnover and the extra little tweak of the... That's a lot of stuff you used to see with Ndamukong Suh, where you could just be like, why are you even doing that?
It's like gator wrestling, basically.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it, he's only getting fined. He's likely to not get a suspension. I think that's what Schefter said.
Well, it would technically
today.
be his first offense. So, I mean, I personally feel like he should get a game. At least one game.
Get him out of here.
I think I have kind of a contrarian take. I talked with Gage about it a little bit ago.
Oh, God. Here we go.
I think when a player deliberately does something like that, and it can get proven that it's pretty blatant, like when Ndamukong Suh would stomp on somebody's crotch or their legs or
their
whatever,
face.
or their face, I think if that player is out, that player who did that, they get suspended for as long as that player's injured. So Chris Carson's out 1 to 2 weeks, maybe longer. This Hill guy shouldn't be allowed to play for those couple of weeks.
So what if they don't get injured, though? What
Then
if
I
the
think-
intent is there, but the follow-through isn't, a la Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph? Mason Rudolph played the next game.
That gets tricky. Then I think the NFL has to figure out kind of a policy standard for something like that. Maybe 2 games to start, and then even more after that, because it's a bad precedent to, not set. It's like Ray Rice. He got 2 games for the elevator shot that he had, and then AP does something. I mean, you can argue which one was worse, but he got the entire season.
Well, they're not consistent, is your biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
They're not consistent at all.
Goodell is judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to handing out punishments. And Ray Rice got 2 games prior to the video being public.
Yes.
As soon as that video is public, Ray Rice's
Indefinite.
career was over.
Yeah.
So, and the Adrian Peterson incident happened afterwards, where they already had the precedent set from that, where they had to punish him more harshly.
There's off the field stuff, and then there's on the field stuff. I think we were kind of brainstorming a little bit. What actually hurts these players? Because you get a $10,000 fine. That's not even one game check for what they're making, millions of dollars. I kind of floated the idea maybe instead of you being suspended for as long as the guy you hurt is out, you should be paying your game checks to the guy you hurt
for as long as he's out.
Well, hey, it would help make running backs a little more money.
protected.
But
Money?
would it protect him? Or would
A
someone
classic,
go, it's worth it to take him out of the game? It's like allowing bounty, because your punishment is just going to be paying them for how many games they're out.
Well, it's like the longest yard. When the Cons all went against the guards,
Yep.
and they had the one play where they just... was that in the longest yard? Or was that the replacements?
Finish the play. I don't know.
Might have been... Well, they injured the entire other team.
Oh.
They cheap shotted him, they kicked him after the play, and then they just got flagged, 15 yards.
That was the 2009 NFC Championship game.
That's
Oh,
the
okay.
one.
All
That's
right.
what you're thinking.
Okay,
of.
yeah,
It
they
wasn't
just-
a movie. It was real life.
It was based off a movie. But anyways, I'm just trying to say that all they have to do is take a cheap shot at the knees or something, then they cost them a season.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's stopping the Chargers from taking a cheap shot at Mahomes? Mahomes gets hurt. He's done for the year because they hit him in the legs.
Division's
And
wide open.
What do they get? You know what I mean?
You lose your backup defensive tackle for a couple weeks.
Whatever.
no.
Oh, tough shit. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's more ethics goes into the NFL than we're giving them credit for.
Yeah, I don't.
That
It doesn't
might have-
happen often.
He might not have gone into that tackle thinking I'm going to injure them, but just fucking rolled with it.
Yeah.
It could have been,
Literally.
Or he was a little bit red in the eyes by the end of the play for
Yeah.
whatever reason. He was a little pissed.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
That
getting
might
their
not have been
asses whooped at home.
premeditated. Oh, if I tackle him, I'm going to hurt him. But,
Oh, so we have first-degree injuries and third-degree injuries now?
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Is it?
Which one is injury slaughter?
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line?
How did you feel when you grabbed his ankle?
Injury slaughter is what happened to Alex Smith. when he broke his leg.
Too soon. Too soon.
Brutal. Or Ryan Shazier. Does
Dude.
slaughter on your own guy. What? It is.
That one's just heartless. Okay.
All right, I'm
We
sorry.
all know Scott
He just
doesn't have a heart
retired. That was very
based off of
heartfelt.
his Big Fish movie review.
No heart.
If you haven't listened to the Big Fish movie review, go back and listen. Every single person here cried besides me during the movie. It's well documented at this point.
Who else is hurt in the NFL?
Who is
Okay,
it?
so back to Chris Carson, though. That's what this all started with.
We got off track.
Carlos Hyde is his immediate backup. Carlos Hyde rushed for 1,000 yards last year. He looked pretty good last night or yesterday in the afternoon game. Carlos Hyde would be the immediate pickup. Travis Homer, I think, too, is going to get some carries, though. Travis Homer was very good for them at the end of last year when Carson was hurt.
This Carson injury is not serious, though. He should be back in a week or two, right?
Right. It's only a
Yeah.
1 or 2 week plug.
All right.
So if you are the Carson owner, you should be able to get Hyde because nobody else is going to bid that much on the guy. Assuming.
Oh, Carson Wentz. If you own him.
No, they already said he's not being replaced this season.
Okay, all right. You said Carson. I got
Doug
mistaken.
is sticking
My
with his
bad.
guy.
Educate me a little bit on what the deal is with Rashad Penny right now.
he is on the IR.
Pup still. Was
Or
it
he's
pup?
on the
When?
pup. Yeah,
Started
sorry,
on
he's on the pup.
Week 7, he could come off.
Week 7.
And he will come off week 7 from everything I've heard. He's looking pretty good on it. But he tore his ACL at the end of last year, so
Yeah.
I
Still
mean,
I just
recovered.
didn't know if this was going to potentially be something that keeps him out the whole season or if he's has a return date.
no, I think well, you don't. It's a lot of it's coach talk, but it does sound like he'll be back week 7 from what Pete Carroll's been saying. The next big injury that everybody saw, Tariq Cohen tears his ACL. I believe it was confirmed today.
Mm-hmm.
The only real, honestly, there's really nobody that I would say go pick up. But to me, the substitute for him would be Cordero Patterson, and I don't know that I would add Cordero Patterson to my team. If you're just in a 12-team league, I don't think he's an ad.
And Montgomery should be owned on a majority of teams.
Right, and I think Montgomery's the guy that's going to directly benefit from this. But Montgomery's just not effective. I don't love the Bears' backfield.
Is that going to change now that Nick Foles has taken the starting job?
It might change a little bit. You don't know, but like you just said, Montgomery's on rosters anyways.
Yeah.
So, the next one to look to as far as injuries, Chris Godwin with his hamstring yesterday popped up again. Scotty Miller's the obvious replacement. Scotty Miller looked good yesterday. And let's all remember, Scotty Miller would have had 3 really good weeks if he didn't drop a touchdown week 2, and then Tom Brady ignored him the rest of the game. So,
How about Mike Evans' stat line yesterday?
2 catches, catches for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
Efficiency.
14
Easy
points.
catches.
Yeah. 14.2 points.
The next big injury, which is near and dear to Gage's heart, Dallas Goedert, ankle. It sounds like he's going to be out a while. Zach Ertz is obviously a top 5 tight end play as long as Goddard's still out. Ertz is an absolute stud.
Yep.
Another guy that had a good game yesterday for Philly, which it doesn't seem like anybody in Philly wants him to be the sole wide receiving option as far as a target share standpoint, but Greg Ward had a good day yesterday, so look to him on the waiver wires as well. I think he would be a flex play at best.
He was a bud plug a handful of weeks ago.
Just
I
missed it
do
by a
recall
little bit.
somebody said that. I don't remember who, but somebody.
Russell Gage goes out yesterday with a concussion. That really sucks because he was a bright spot for most of the year so far. He's had 3 good weeks. Deontay Johnson torpedoed my DFS yesterday. I would be a millionaire today if it wasn't for him going out with a concussion, so that sucks.
Who's going to step in that spot?
I think Claypool is probably the guy where you're like, this is the thing though. With the NFL today, I don't think Deontay Johnson has a history of concussion, so it's likely he'll be back this week. But if he's not, I think Claypool would be the guy to pick up and start. And if you guys disagree with any of these guys that I'm saying, feel free to butt in. The next one, John Brown goes down with a calf in the Bills game. Cole Beasley's the obvious guy that benefits from that, although Beasley was a borderline flex play regardless. He had a very good week this week.
Cemented his spot, I think, as a wide receiver.
And
too.
then the guy that never pops up on the injury lists at all, especially when he was playing a lot and was pretty good, Jordan Reed goes down yesterday with ankle and knee, so it's a good thing it's not his head. So otherwise there would have been literal mashed potatoes on the field yesterday in New York. Or where did the Washington play?
New York.
Okay.
Not Washington.
San Francisco.
But yeah,
Yep.
New York.
I I think you pivot away from the tight end position, especially if Kittle doesn't come back, which it sounds like he should be back next week. They didn't bring him back this week because of the field that they were playing on.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So Kittle would obviously be the guy now. So Reed's value would have been dead anyways. The next one, Michael Pittman Jr. goes down with his ankle injury. I wouldn't even look to replace him with a wide receiver. Zach Pascal should have already been picked up when who went down last week for them?
Paris Campbell.
Yes, Paris Campbell. When Paris Campbell went down last week, Zach Pascal should have been picked up already. I would say look and see about Mo Alley Cox, however, at tight end. He had another good week this week, and he looks like a guy that Rivers really likes. And we all know Rivers loves tight ends.
Is there a history of that?
A little bit.
Just a history of him only being able to throw 5 yards downfield.
Which is generally the routes tight ends
he's got
run.
a big arm. He can throw
he's
downfield.
He's going to beat Tannehill in QBR this year, dude. So that's kind of the top injuries. A lot better week this week from a league perspective than last week. Last week was much worse. Some other news. Trubisky gets benched for Foles. Foles comes in, wins the game for the Bears. We'll touch more on that in the next episode when we do our 3 words or less. But Foles came in and looked good, so Foles could be a potential waiver wire ad.
God, how would you feel to be a Falcons fan?
Oh,
Terrible.
it's a miserable existence. It's a miserable
I
existence.
kind of understand as a Vikings fan.
Did they pick up a sort of a curse or a bad mojo when they lost that game to the Patriots?
Super Bowl. Okay, we'll just do a 3 words or less teaser. Super Bowl shell shock.
Gage is saying that
Still, huh?
because
Yes.
it seems like they have been able to do nothing but find ways to lose ever since that game.
I mean, and then last week with Dallas, up, what was it?
20-0
2
in
scores.
the first quarter.
Yeah,
I
they were
think.
up 15 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth, and they still lose that game. This team is rough, and they have definitely just been a shell of their former selves.
From the
Just
perspective, other things that I had to talk about regarding the week, Detroit's backfield, is that the most disgusting backfield of 2020? There's value in that backfield, but it's split among 3 guys. I want to say DeAndre Swift had 1 carry yesterday.
No,
Not a single carry.
not a carry.
So
he had one
played-
catch.
He had 1 catch then.
Yep.
Kerryon Johnson, I think, had 6
3.
total touches.
Three
Three
rushes,
rushes, and
1 reception.
So 4 total touches, and Adrian Peterson was the bell cow.
22
Yes.
rushes, 75 yards.
And this was a game they were trying to win. They won, didn't they?
They did win.
23-20.
But let's remember, these are the Lions that drafted Swift in the second, Kerryon Johnson in, I want to say, the third.
Second.
Or was he a second as well? So they have 2 second-rounders that are young running backs, by the way, that they are giving touches to the veteran Adrian Peterson over. It's just a muddied-up backfield.
Adrian Peterson was a first-round pick, though. If we're going to play that game.
No, I know, I get it, but
That was also 15 years ago.
Just saying.
13.
He's still
but still.
got some juice in the tank.
I think the only
He even
other...
had 1 reception.
Yeah.
He tied the other
did.
2 for receptions.
Yes, he did. I think the only other backfield that's as muddied up as Detroit's is the Giants' backfield. And the Giants is a different scenario. Detroit's is muddied up because there's 3 capable running backs. The Giants is muddied up because there's no capable running backs with Barkley down. And an offensive line that is worse than Swiss cheese.
Well, you thought Freeman was going to take a few weeks to get acclimated.
Is
That could be
Freeman
the
even
case.
a guy, though, behind that offensive line?
No,
Barkley couldn't run behind it.
He's not for the next handful of weeks. I'll
The
try and
leading
pull up
rusher-
the schedule, but
The leading rusher in that game was Daniel Jones. If that tells you enough about how that running game
It
is
was
going.
probably going to be on the market next year. For
Yeah,
any
because
team
if
that
they
wants
end
him.
up with a top pick, they're going to probably. I would think they would for sure draft. They would for sure draft Lawrence and maybe even Fields and get rid of Daniel Jones. And the Giants roster is New York. Period has 2 awful teams. There is no startable players on the Jets team from a fantasy perspective, and the Giants, I would say, have none either. Slayton might be, but that's about it.
so the Giants, they go up against the Rams, the Cowboys, the football team, and then the Eagles. So the next handful of weeks, 4, 5, and 6 are not great for running backs. Chase Young did go down with an injury, but they still have now, 104 first-round picks on that defensive line?
Yeah.
So, nonetheless,
No, yep, 104.
yeah.
They're all there.
Sounds accurate.
Forgot about Kerrigan.
Some kind of studs that came out of the week that really showed out. Mike Davis, he was the obvious. A lot of people were on Mike Davis with McCaffrey going down. Round of applause for Mike Davis. Mike Davis, you are an absolute stallion.
He filled the C-Mac role very well.
Yeah, he did. And the offensive coordinator for the Panthers, I can't remember his name. He said that they were going to run this. They were going to run the offense the exact same through Mike Davis. They were going to call the same plays, and Mike Davis showed out. Another guy that kind of came in, the tandem of Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson showed up for the 49ers. Jerick McKinnon had an awesome first half before he got injured, and then they went over to Jeff Wilson, and Jeff Wilson had some nice plays. The 49ers, Nick Mullins, too, tip of the cap to him. The 49ers showed out. I know they were playing the Giants, but they still, that running game is, it doesn't matter who's running the ball.
Wilson, he put up 2 touchdowns, I think.
He did put up 2, yes.
Like 45, 50 yards, something like that.
Yep. Rex Burkhead, 3-touchdown day. He actually did I think he had 3 touchdowns as well last year in week 3, and then he disappeared for the rest of the year. So I wouldn't get too excited about that. But I think one big takeaway from that game. Oh, that can't.
Sorry.
We're watching Monday night. We're watching Monday night countdown, and I just watched a player from Army headbutt his coach right in the nose. He must have made a nice play. Nonetheless,
now he's sitting up, he's all fired up, but you know he's got a
from
stage 3 concussion.
Yeah.
that's hilarious. So, yeah, Rex Burkhead, big day. Don't pick him up.
That's another
Unless
muddy backfield, though.
There
too.
is one capable.
Yeah.
There's one spot where Burkhead would be worth a pickup, and that's if James White does not come back for a couple weeks, which I would assume he would. It's a horrible situation with him and his parents. His mom's in critical condition. His dad passed away in a car accident. Horrible situation, and I don't like to speculate on personal reasons why players are out. But if James White does not come back this week, Burkhead would be worth a flex play. Cedric Wilson Jr., wide receiver for the Cowboys, absolutely showed out yesterday. Is he a guy that you guys would be looking to pick up at all on a waiver wire? No.
Hell no.
Alan Lazard, anybody picking up Alan Lazard after the night he had, or is he literally just because Devontae Adams was out? Who Devontae will be back next week.
A-Rod is pissed. I'd hate to say it, but Alan Lazard will be a wide receiver.
I will not pick him up, but I do recommend other people pick him up, use him as a flex spot. Kind of a little bit of a week-to-week basis as well, but I mean, even the first week against the Vikings, he had a hell of a stat line.
What was Adams' injury to? Was it
I think it was hamstring.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not something that's going to go away quick, not going to pop up. This is going to be an ongoing issue. I think even when Adams is in, it cements his role as being the number 2 above MVS. So, yeah, I think Allen is definitely worth the ad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that kind of rounds out top news of the weekend. With that being said, we will get into Gage's buyers buy, sellers sell.
Ooh.
Gage's rage, hit it.
All right, so this week, reflecting on week 2, I didn't have quite as good of a buyer segment, but long haul for the buyers buy. All right, that's what we're looking for. Is they'll pay off overall. So this week I'm going to kick it off with an easy buy. Josh Allen is absolutely dominant. He has done it the first 3 weeks. I think he's the first quarterback to have 10 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing in the first few weeks. So he'll keep it going. Another sneaky ad, I think, is Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick. Fourth quarter comeback. I know it's the Atlanta Falcons, but he was throwing to the right guys. He was finding the open receivers. Maybe he does it in Chicago just as well.
BDN or footlong Foles?
I like BDN. Just me personally, though.
All right, timestamp 24:16.
We
BDN.
on the mailbag, we did ask the question, or somebody else asked the question. BDN or Circle Jerk McKinnon? What is your 2 favorite nickname?
You know, I will.
And if
say
you have
this.
others, let us know.
I'm a little worn out on the BDN. I'm kind of sick of hearing about it, especially
Just flashbacks.
Just show it already. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, he kind of did on yesterday. I mean, he came
Slapped
in
it all over the Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons know.
I don't think the Falcons really want to see it again. I think they're good. They know it's a real thing.
Once is enough.
It was a little scary.
There's a rumor out there that he actually has a small penis. And when he was with the Eagles, they're like, no, Nick, it's really big. So you have just trying to boost his confidence. So he's just been going by Big Dick Nick since then. In reality, it's not that big of a penis. Hot take from the Budhole.
Is that national average or is that worldwide average?
Yeah, worldwide.
National.
So are we going to be the official Big Dick Nick is fake news podcast?
Well, Gage had an idea. We might be
the official Micro Penis podcast.
Oh, that's a hell of a pick from Gage. We could be the official Micro Penis podcast. That could be a thing.
Endorsed by Scott. I like it. For my sells of the week, at quarterback, I'm looking at Carson Wentz. Doug Marrone is coming out saying that he's still got Carson as his guy. But I think he's looking at Foles do what he did in the fourth quarter and kind of reaching out at his TV like, oh, I had you.
baby come back.
Yeah. Carson just looks far from the quarterback that did the 13-win season that got set up BDN. I also don't like Breeze a lot. He's missing something without Michael Thomas. It's tough. But that's just on the slow burn there.
He still has Alvin Kamara, though.
No. Breeze is missing something even with Michael Thomas, and that's arm strength. Breeze has no drive ability.
Like the last 5 years, and his finish for average depth of pass or whatever was like either 29th to last for the last 5 years.
But it does.
This is not a new thing. This has been his thing.
It has been, but he's always been good enough at, we'll say, the 15-yard passes where he had to keep you honest. Whereas this year, it could be Thomas out, but he just doesn't even appear to be interested in driving the ball down the field.
No, his first read, it's not there. Boom, dump off to Kamara. Dump off to the tight end.
I love it.
If you have any running back, though, to dump a ball off to that could possibly take to the house, Kamara's about as good as it gets. So it works.
Yes.
But I'm in on that Breeze take with you as a sell.
Sell him while you can.
Not to go off on a tangent, but Mike Thomas is known as the king of 5-yard routes. Is that because Drew Brees can't throw it deep?
Absolutely. Mike Thomas
Perfect
is
combo.
a good enough wide receiver where he can run any route in the route tree, and he's going to be a stud.
It's just a match made in heaven. At the running back position, I am going to buy Austin Eckler. I like what I saw with the rookie quarterback. If he stays healthy, dropping back 50 times in a game, it's going to be tough, especially in the NFL every Sunday, but he knows where to put the balls. And that also leads into my wide receiver, Keenan Allen. I think they're both solid buys. If you can buy them after the first couple weeks, these guys are going to perform. They're going to get peppered with targets, and the offense will move with their rookie quarterback.
And the way he's been playing, I think they're going to have to move forward with him. If Tyrod comes back, he's had 2 games over 300 yards. Yep. I don't know if he's thrown a pick yet.
He did throw a pick in the first game.
Did he?
Yep, last week.
Okay.
So he got the first one out of the way, though.
He's still been lighting it up.
Yes.
Absolutely lighting it up.
Yep. Another running back I really like to buy on is Montgomery. Like we were saying with the Tariq Cohen ACL injury, he's going to be out the rest of the year. It's really a one-guy backfield now, and I think with Nick, that could be a good combo moving forward. Now, on the selling side, at running back, I have a couple controversial takes here. I don't know if everyone's going to love them. I think Kenyon Drake and Joe Mixon are sell, get out while you can. Joe Mixon, he doesn't have it. Maybe he'll come back as a buy in week 10 or something, but the first 3 weeks, you are not getting the first-round running back, second-round running back you drafted. Same with Kenyon Drake. The offense just absolutely flows through DeAndre Hopkins, and that's it. It doesn't help when the quarterback goes ahead and steals your goal line carries, and Kyler's pretty good at that. He's just a little quick devil. He's tough to tackle. The play action rollout is going to be there all year. At the wide receiver position, another wide receiver I think is worth a buy is T. Higgins. He's got the connection with Joe Burrow, and they finally got into the end zone a couple times. But on the sell side, I'm selling a very hot name in Scary Terry. The Washington football team
Keep
just
going.
doesn't have it, and
Another page.
I'm not confident in Scary Terry's ability going forward, or Washington's, for that matter.
Something's wrong with you. Really.
It's true.
That's all I got.
Oh.
That's my buys and sells of the week.
So for your buyer segment,
Yes.
Josh Allen,
Yes.
what do you have to get up to get Josh Allen? Because the guy who's got him, I feel like you're going to have to get a haul to get a quarterback that's playing the way he is right now.
Yeah. I bet you probably have to trade a quarterback and a solid player, a running back too, a starting wide receiver.
Something's wrong with you.
It's tough to say. I don't
Really?
have a lot of Josh Allen stakes, but what are you guys giggling
We
about?
need headphones, Gage.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening, Scott and I have headphones so we can hear what's coming through on these button bars. Gage and Star right now don't. So if you hear some awkward silence or some funny laughing, it's because of that. Okay, all right, I'll shut up.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
For Josh Allen, I think you're going to have to give up a haul.
Yeah.
In a regular season, maybe a little less, but I bet you in a dynasty league, you're giving up a good chunk.
Oh, in Dynasty, you'd definitely be giving up quite a bit.
The thing with Josh Allen, and I'll also loop in Russell Wilson, when you look at price paid versus possible output, as far as the price you paid for these two, Josh Allen was about the 4th, 5th quarterback taken in most drafts. So was Russell Wilson, and right now they're the top two. So if I'm the owner of one of those guys, I'm not selling.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to, because for me to sell them, what are you going to give me? You know, like if you're going to give me Derrick Henry and I don't have a good running back, or Christian McCaffrey got hurt and you're trying to give me a Derrick Henry, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, those two, I mean, there's no reason to get rid of them right now.
Like, you'd have to pair that with a decent quarterback.
Like a Cam Newton and a Derrick Henry for a Josh Allen and Josh Kelly. Like,
Is that
I would
worth
maybe
it, though?
do that.
If you're the guy giving up Cam Newton and Derrick
I
Henry.
wouldn't buy him for that, I guess.
I'm just saying you're going to have to give up a lot to get him. And in my opinion, too, that's the same with Austin Eckler. Because Austin Eckler did this week exactly what you drafted him to do.
Would you take C-Mac and David Montgomery for Eckler?
If I'm a team right now that's 2-1 or 3-0, I maybe would. If I'm not
I
even
don't even know what
interested,
that's like.
I'm not even interested.
Yeah, tell us more about this 3-0.
I'm not even
nice.
interested in Christian McCaffrey right now unless I'm a team that's like 3-0, 2-1.
Okay.
Because it's still early enough in the year where you're trying to just get wins piled up.
I feel it. I feel
Or
it hard.
In the case of Brandon, you have no wins and no good outlook on getting a win because your team manages to always fail you. Brandon's team is the worst possible situation because you look at it on paper and you're like, all right, this team's pretty good. And then it comes time to actually do something, and that team's not very good.
I've only had one bad week. Last week I had like 80-some points, which was bad, and I lost by a point.
That's like you said, you look at points 4, and it's like, all right, you're just getting bad draws. But at some point, you need to start getting wins.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
First week I had the top scoring team. That's who I went up against. So, I mean, rough matchup there right off the bat. Obviously, you're not going to win any of those games if you're playing the guy who scored the most points. I think I was second or third most at that point.
Okay.
And then this past week, I mean, it was a close game up until the last little bit. Minshew, who had a hell of a matchup against the Dolphins, he put up 9 points. And
Yeah.
I started him. If
Yep.
I would have started Stafford like I'd been doing all year, I would have won that game. But I went with the matchup, and I lost.
You got burned.
I think I lost 116 to 120.
Ooh.
Now, I will say my kicker put up the most points on my team, which is also sad.
You had Tennessee, Gostowski?
I picked him up because I was like, Dan Bailey with this offense, not going to put up points. I was like, I'll pick up Gostowski. And he had, the first 12 points I had were field goals.
After the Ofer in the first game with the game winner, he's been
Money.
hasn't missed. Yeah, he's the guy they paid for.
And he has hit every game winning. Like, he was the reason they won that game.
Yeah.
And I think between their first 3 games, they've won by a combined 6 points. 3 points the first week.
They were game-winning field goals every game.
Exactly. It was 2 points the first week, 3 the second, and then it was 1 against the Vikings.
Dirty. Yeah, I heard that he was kicking without socks on, so that could be the key to his kicking woes.
I like it. It works. He's on my team now. He's going to stay. Keep putting up 25 points. Kick 100 field goals if you have to.
With that Dynasty League I just started up, the draft was this season.
Yep.
We actually do an interesting thing where you play a one team in your matchup, but then you also play the average. So it kind of eliminates that thing where you're saying you were the second or third highest scorer, but you played the guy who scored the most.
Yep.
You're not only playing head-to-head, but you're also playing against the average of everyone.
So how do you get wins for that?
So there's 2 wins and losses every single week. You have your head-to-head matchup where you can just beat the other guy, but then it takes the average of starting lineups for the whole 12-team league. So that's actually sneaky. I didn't know that before I joined this league. And then I looked at the matchups, and I'm like, what the hell is AVE? And there's no players listed. It just slowly stacks up. And then I figured it out to be the average.
Huh.
So, even though the average is only like 120 points right now, with Mahomes, Kelsey, Lamar Jackson, Ingram, all these starters playing, the average is going to skyrocket the more
That's
they
kind
play.
of a weird. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
So how does that play into playoffs then?
I think it's just going to make sure the teams who score a lot of points are in versus teams like, similar to your situation. If you score a lot but you play the guy who scored the most, you're still going to win because you're beating the average, so you're getting a wash for the week. Whereas if you lose and you also suck, you're getting double losses.
That's like a hybrid that's kind of a hybrid situation, because what a lot of leagues will do is they'll actually you won't play one specific person every week. You'll get a win and a loss from each matchup every single week. So if you have a
just top
12-team
5.
league, you'll have 11 possible matchups. You'll have 11 matchups for the week. And if you win 6 and lose 5, you'll be 6-5 for the week.
So that's just taking that average line and saying the top 6 teams win, the bottom 6 lose.
I kind of like that a little bit, though.
I think in a dynasty league, it's a great idea.
I'd be 2-1.
Now, part of the fun of the Friends League, like yearly thing, is playing people week to week, right? It's part of the fun. But in like a dynasty league where you're trying to give truly the best teams a shot at winning the title, it kind of makes sense to do that. So does that round out Gage's Rage's buys of the week? Sells? Buyers buy, sellers sell?
Buyers buy, sellers sell.
Going into the Bud plug of the week, brought to you by me, I'm going to give you 4 plugs for the week. Jeff Wilson. If Mostert doesn't come back, Jeff Wilson, you should be picking him up. Nick Mullins, hell of a DFS play. He's kind of not as much a secret anymore, but he was a great DFS play this past weekend. But Nick Mullins still has value as long as Garoppolo's out in DFS. Justin Jefferson, we were just talking about him before the podcast started. I think you could pick him up and plug him right into your flex playing the Texans this week for the Vikings.
You guys can't pick them up, though.
Right. We're talking to the listeners.
Maybe some listeners can, but you guys can't.
Yeah, we won't.
Just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Is he
we
already
won't
taken?
touch him.
Yes.
Who's got him?
It's me.
Oh,
It's me. I'm guilty. The other one's Alan Lazard. I think Alan Lazard has real... he should at least be rostered because we all know Devontae Adams' injury history. Devontae Adams could come back and in 2 weeks be out for another 3 weeks. I think Alan Lazard does have value even if Devontae's back, but it's not as much value. Alan Lazard should be rostered. We will turn it over to you guys for some of your plugs of the week.
so I would say if you're looking at starting somebody, Deshaun Watson this week is going to have a good matchup against the Vikings. It's easy. We have a bad secondary. He's a mobile quarterback. We struggle against them. They need a win desperately to even have consideration of staying alive. We're in the same boat, but I think Deshaun Watson is going to outperform Kirk Cousins. Bold take, I know. And I would say Deshaun Watson is a good start this week. Will Fuller I think he had a touchdown last
he did.
week.
5 catches for 50 yards.
Did Cooks have a touchdown too?
I do not know about Cooks.
Okay.
Cooks did not. Nope, he did not.
So Deshaun Watson's a solid start there. And do we know the status on DJ Chark? Do you guys know?
I think
week
he'll be
to
back. I think he'll be back. I thought he was a game time decision on Thursday night, and he had 10 days to heal.
Well, hopefully he's back for week 4.
We'll call it a game time decision.
If he's back on week 4, I think you're going to want to pick up DJ Chark. It's obvious that they need him.
Yep.
It was apparent that they didn't have that. I thought Chenault was going to step in and play really well, and it just wasn't enough.
What are you looking at your side of your eyes for, Scott?
I don't think DJ Chark's available in almost any leagues.
I'm just saying
You're
start.
talking-
I'm not talking.
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, you just said pick up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you're playing DFS,
Wait,
he's a good
we're
start.
missing. So the bud plug of the week has to be.
These are
less than
guys that you should be
50% owned?
rostering, baby.
Oh, is this like the under 50%?
Yeah. This is the
I
thing
take
that
back
you-
everything I just said.
I'm going to go with Hunter Renfroe.
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral.
6 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown. And he also was down at the 1-yard line for potentially another touchdown early in the first half. Roster Hunter Renfroe. He might be the best wide receiver on the Raiders going forward.
No, God! No, God!
Sorry. What? We're just laughing at you.
I just finished.
Oh, good.
Well,
Just
that's
came.
kind of personal.
That is not the only time Star's ever said that in his life.
And I think that finishes the bud plugs of the week because
I apparently don't know the rules of it.
So, hey, if Deshaun Watson or DJ Chark is available, go pick him up.
Yes, that's a big deal. And with that being said,
if they are in your lineups, start them.
I guess I could use T. Higgins. I think he is a decent bud plug.
I would use
2
T. Higgins
touchdowns.
as a
He's
butt
not.
plug.
I don't
He's
know
not
if
rostered.
he's available, but
Yeah,
he's
no.
probably is. I like the hookup.
Yep, I like it. With that being said, Brandon, kick it off.
The Bud. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Still learning.
It is now time to play Budhole 5.
You heard the lady. It is now time to play the Budhole 5. I know everybody knows how to play, but I'm going to explain the rules anyways. You have 30 seconds
35.
to name the top 5 in whatever category I give you. Could be sports, video games, movies, etc. You get a point for each answer correct. If there's a tie, we'll go into a 20-second tiebreaker round for items 6 through 10. If there happens to be a tie after that, we'll go back and forth to pick 11. If the person gets it right, who guesses first, yes, I'll give player number 2 an option, one-time rebuttal on pick number 12. It is new. It's fair. This is fair. The time will start after I finish reading the question. I want you guys to give me the top fantasy scoring defenses of Week 3. The top fantasy scoring defenses of Week 3. The Budhole 5 is brought to you by your favorite DFS site, Thrive Fantasy. They have eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask you about the top-tier athletes in a respective sport. Each prop has a fantasy point total associated with the over-under based on its likelihood to occur. So the more points a selection is worth, the riskier it is. Rack up the most points to win your share of the prize pool. Use promo code BUD, B-U-D, when you sign up today and you will receive an instant $20 bonus on your first deposit of $20 or more. All right, that wraps up your time. We are going to start with last week's final game champion, Gage's Rage.
Yes, sir.
Give
Yes,
me
sir.
the top 5 scoring defenses this week. And I will say, there was a tie for spot number 5, so there's actually 6 correct answers.
Son of a. All right, I think I have a few of them here. I have New England, Indianapolis Colts, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Miami Dolphins, and Seattle.
All right. Star Lamar.
I only had 4, and he had 3 of them.
Oof.
So I have the Colts, the Bucks, the 49ers, and the Patriots.
Scott.
I had Colts, 49ers, Bucks, Dolphins, Browns. Colts, 49ers, Bucks, Dolphins, Browns.
Colts, 49ers, Bucks,
We all had the Colts, right?
Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
Browns.
2 touchdowns. That's a.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. This is impressive, guys. You're getting better at this game. As we've gone on, we have a tie for last place.
Oh.
The reigning champion, Gage's Rage, is one of those members in last place. 4
You
correct
have failed me
answers.
for the last time.
What?
So Scott won because I only had 4 answers.
That is
Unless
right.
we all tied.
Scott won. He hit 5 out of 6 technical answers, but he did get 5 for 5. The Colts had 26, Bucks had 16, Pats had 15, Browns at 14, and then San Fran and the Finns had 12. That's impressive, though. You got 4. Bullshit.
Hey, guys, I can't
could've
help.
gone
Thank you,
Browns
crowd.
or
Thank you,
Finns.
crowd. Thank you, friends, family.
Would have got it for me. I wasn't even thinking of either of those two teams.
They came to me late.
That was good, though. That was good. I mean, 4 points.
4, 4, 5.
Odds of you losing with 4 points is...
Didn't we just
Not
do
very
that
high.
last week for the first time?
I think so.
We did that on. I think it was no, it was not the fantasy question. It was a different one. But
I mean, these questions are somewhat predictable in this fantasy football thing. The fact that I do zero effort to look any of this up before this is all my fault that I've lost. Because it would just be easy enough to go look at who's the top scorer, who's the top wide receivers, who's the top defense, who's the top quarterback.
See?
Yeah, but he
Ray,
doesn't-
once you start looking, he'll throw in the worst 5.
he doesn't always do that, though.
No, I don't.
Start, though.
But I do have a couple ideas. Shake things up a little bit. I know it's been a little consistent with fantasy, and we want to keep it related to fantasy because that's what we're talking about. But there's deeper stats that you can look at. I mean, there's
Oh, we don't
receptions each week. There's
Which
yards.
wide receivers
There's...
had the most receptions.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can do. And it's going to be shaken up a little bit in the NFL podcast, so buckle up.
Oh, a teaser for the next show. With that being said, that ends this episode.
Go jerk off.
Bye.